Recording. Okay. Okay, y'all. So check this out. Listen. Hey, Victor Carr. I know you probably gonna watch this. I know you probably don't know me, but guess what? You don't have to know me. All you have to do is realize that I am here and I'm here to stay and I ain't going nowhere, right? Listen, I am a Mula Ascendant. And you, matter of fact, didn't in your video you say Mula Nakshatra is about like finding lies and stuff like that? God is knitted to you know how you be trying to speak a lot of like Sanskrit is yeah, that's who I am, right? So now it's time to debunk you, right? You really like a lot of like textual stuff and say you don't know like the wordplay. We finna clear all of that shit up in this video right here, right? Every last one of your claims, right, including the thing that you made about me last night. Oh yeah, listen. I'm so happy you did this because listen, all you are about to do is just witness your own downfall. And I want you to understand this too, Vic Dicara. Me, Rex Angel Kane, I'm not going to stop. The more you reply, the more I am going to keep going at your throat. I need you to understand that because it feel like you don't want. I think you think you're intellectually superior because you like talk like you're like a robot or something like that. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into the name column, which I'm not name calling. I'm just saying like your mannerisms kind of remind me of something. But now let's look at what you said last night. Look what you said last night. Listen, and I do read fast, so hopefully you can keep up. So now this is what you made about me. You said I said Victor Carr brings up the phrase by chakra, not by visuvat, however you say it, right? Which he claims to point to equinox being the foundation of the zodiac. You said if you don't know the Sanskrit or if you are talking to people who don't know it, then you can say Vic is misinterpreting or claiming, right? If you do know the language, however, you know Sirius Adanta simply, literally, unequivocally states the zodiac is a wheel. You said all that, right? So now let me go over here to my. Oh yeah, I got a lot of stuff for you. I got a lot of stuff for you. So now, verse 14 through 7 does not say that the zodiac rotates on an equinox solstice axis, right? It simply notes that the two equinox points and the solstice points lie on the opposite ends of the diameters of the ecliptic circle. That's all it says, Vic. Do it say that it's turn? Do it say any? It don't say any of that, right? So now, the verb of motion, you know what I'm talking about? Your paraphrase inserts is absent in the actual Sanskrit, right? So now, the grammar is locative, not instrumental, right? So now, let's go back to your second claim. You said, I said in Vedic, the equinox is used as a fixed star, whatever, serious. Vic, you know what you said. So to this reply right here, I don't even feel like just, oh my God, I don't even feel like reading. It's just disgusting. So now, let's just see what I said. I like that better. So earlier chapters still demand the Ayanamsa step, right? So the Rasi grid is a star fixed. Chapter 14 just tells the calendar markers, right? Where the actual seasonal points currently lie inside that fixed grid. Hold up. Golly. Why is it saying it pace with Copilot? Where is that coming from? Lord have mercy. But anyways, right. So now let me rephrase. Right. So now, Sirius Adams remains a sidereal text, and no Sanskrit line redefines the 0 degree Aries as the actual vernal equinox. Which let me add. Because I had all these notes saved and I had to screenshot them and then copy paste them from all the stuff I was trying to go against you. I had to put them on my computer for chart calculations, right? So stay with me. Vic, please stay with me. So this is your second, this is your third, whatever, right? So now let's go right here. So now chapter 14 uses the Rasi name starting with Aries, right? Merely as month labels for the ritual calendar, right? It never relocates the Aries to the 0 degree equinox for the actual chart calculation. That's what I said because I was trying to really defeat you really, really bad. So I just kept kind of like typing stuff really. But I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. And I think you think that I didn't know what I was talking about or how I explained it. Hopefully this slide really clarified it because this is just the beginning. You finna get toe up here in about like a couple of minutes, right? So now what you got to understand, right? Chapters 1 through 3, right? The horoscope calculations, literally in chapters 1 through 3, right? You don't have to stay exactly where the earlier chapters put them, right? In a star anchor zodiac sign connected by Ayanamsa, right? And then, so the chapter 14 does indeed say the months begin with Aries, right? Because it is giving a civil ritual calendar label, right? But every horoscope algorithm, Vic Dicara, right? Vic, That's the name, right? Every horoscope algorithm early in the book still begins by stripping away the equinox offset, right? With the Ayanamsa. Hopefully you understand it, right? So now, before it does anything, right? So now, proof that the zodiac grid itself is held to the actual fixed stars, right? So verse 14 through 10 is a naming for the actual months, Vic. Not a re-anchoring of the 0 degree Aries, and it has nothing to do with the chart calculations. So you say, well, it does say regular Aries, yes, Vic, but the chart calculations was from between chapter 1 and 3, preferably 3 for the Lagna, right, Vic? And why do we use Lagna, Vic? And you might say, but Criticus, the first nocturne, I think I heard you say that to Panthera or something like that. So let me explain that. Critica is first, right? So now this is a liturgical, I hope I'm saying it correctly, listing, right? Not a longitude 0, right? So now the Siddhantas that govern the horoscope math explicitly put, you know what I'm at 0 degree, you know what I'm at Ashwini, right? You say, but it ends at Revati star. Vic. You understand what I'm saying, right? Hopefully you do, right? You understand the full revolution, right? So now, what I want you to understand, so whatever order the Vedas chant the nakshatras in, our chart calculations stay 100% Sidereal, right? So now, Vic, we didn't get that out the way, but listen. What they say, you said that you don't see no table right now. These are three serious duntas, right? These are three serious duntas. This one, and this one, right? Listen, Vic, look, this the table I was telling you about, Vic. Oh, this one, this one, and this one. By three different odds. This the one I was telling you about, Vic. And yes, this is in the actual commentary, right? Remember, with all this complicated math that you talking about, Vic, we have to discuss the complicated math, right? This is trigonometry, right? But don't even worry about it. We're gonna get into that, right? So now, you was somehow asking, what do I mean by essential equivalence? Because I mean, Vic, I do understand that essentially the essential equivalents are in both tropical and sidereal. Nobody's taking away that. However, I'm saying the use of essential equivalents is from a sidereal aspect. But don't worry about it, because you said something about the sundial and the equinoctial shadow. I got something for you. So you just sit tight. You just sit tight. So now this version says the same thing, right? This version mentions right here. Listen, I gave you the viewpoints. What serious Siddhanta do you have, Vic? Because all three of the ones that I have that are free, one of them 700 pages, one of them 474 pages, the other one's 306 pages, and there's another one that's 316 pages, right? So now, who lying? Because all three of these books say exactly what I was trying to tell you to get you to understand, right? You see what I'm saying? So now that we understand that, Vic, um, let's get into all of my rebuttals against you, right? So now, Vic Dicara, Astrology, Refutation. I know you probably thinking like, damn, he really just made an actual blog. Yeah, you made a blog about me, so I just casually decided to make 5 about you. You understand that? So this is what I was letting them know. So now, Vic, you are still off the mark, right? So a full rebuttal, right? The Sirius, Sedanta, Zodiac, and Sidereal, not tropical. Let's set the record straight. Vic, you've been arguing that the Sirius Sedanta supports a tropical zodiac, but your interpretation only ignores the actual Sanskrit verses, right? It also directly contradicts the internal logic and structure of the actual text, right? Don't worry, Vic, I'm finna break it down. And I'm not finna just read it so you can think he just only reading it. No, I'm explaining it too, right? Now, this isn't just a disagreement, Vic. This is a demolition. And I want you to wholeheartedly just feel that. So now, Vic's claims one, right? Zodiac is defined by the equinox, right? So now, Vic's argument: the series of Dante is based on a tropical zodiac because chapter 14 talks about equinoxes and solstices, right? So the zodiac must be used for birth charts, right? Starting from the spring equinox, right? Make sure you see what I said for the birth chart, right? My rebuttal, completely false. Chapter 1, verse 27 lays the foundation, right? The circle of asterisms is 360, right? Beginning at what? The end of Revati, right? This is a sidereal reference, right? Period. It doesn't say the zodiac sign begins at the actual equinoxes in this actual chapter, right? Especially for chart calculations, which is coming after the chapter 2 into the chapter 3, right? Do you understand it, right? It said the zodiac begins at Revati, which is a fixed star, right? Don't it say after the full revolution, that's when it end out, or do I gotta find it? Matter of fact, let's just find the text, Vic. Let's just find it. Say, hold up, because I screenshotted the stuff on my phone, so I could just demolish you way easier. Let me see. Let me see. Would it be? Oh, this one. Let's see. Would it be 35? Let's see. Maybe it's 35. maybe it's 35. Vic, I know you ain't never had no heat like this, but it's cool. Is it 35? Yep, text 27, right? Woo! Lord have mercy, right? So now let's go up. Let's just read, right? So now the slow moving planets are constantly surpassed by the stars moving with increasing velocity, right? The planets fall behind proportionally in their own path, right? So now, therefore, theirs is forward motion because of the diverse orbital revolutions, Vic. There is a variation in their daily motion, right? Because of that, there is variation in the time spent in each zodiac or Rashi. But I seen you mention this on one of your videos. You were like, well, Rashi doesn't just mean zodiac. Vic, and I get it. I get what you mean, and I do get your point, but I understand when somebody is like trying to wordplay their way out of something, right? In order to kind of really like force the actual logic, right? I know this your first time. Oh, and I am a pervert by the moon, and I'm also a pusher sun and a mula ascendant. So I just want you to know what you up against. And if you reply, I just can't wait. I can't wait till you reply right. So now let's look at this one now. The faster moving planets travel in less time, and slow moving planets travel the same distance in more time, right? One full transit, right? Vagana, right? However you want to say it, of a planet is said to be complete when they travel and come back again at the end of the Refutation constellation, right? I'm just saying. So now, and look at the commentary. I know you hate the commentary, right? But I'm Vic. They're just explaining it. It's kind of how you be commentating on the actual text, right? Don't, can't, aren't we supposed to do that? That's all I'm saying, man. That is all I'm saying, right? Listen, Vic, that's all I'm saying, right? Now, what is it right here? 60 seconds, right? Make 1 minute. 60 colors, make 1 degree. Um, 1 degree, 30 degrees, make one Rasi, right? 12 Rasis make one revolution, right? So now consider this: there are 12 times 30. Vic, you understand all that because I watched your video, right? And so what you was talking about, well, this is just a Yuga cycle. Vic, Dicara, I want you to understand this specifically. This is the first actual text in the actual whole series Siddhanta, and it's literally telling you, even in the video, you said yourself, for argument's sake, this is defining a sidereal zodiac. But then later on in that video, halfway towards the end, you said this is just for zodiac revolutions, not for birth charts. But the one in 14, that one is talking about the seasons and stuff like that, that's for the birth charts. So you just picked and chose one of them. You said, yeah, the first initial one, yeah, I'm not really worried about that. I'm not really worried about that. But over here, it said from the social equinox, it reckoned from Aries, right? Vic, that's just for so it's like you said, it's one zodiac but two different ways of looking at it. Clearly, obviously, right? So it's not really truly contradicting itself in the way that you were trying to say it is. It's merely stating that it's looking at the zodiac from two different ways. Also, Vic Dicara, the zodiac constellation names come from where? The tropical constellation, they come from the actual stars. You're gonna say the tropical astrology ain't it's not about the stars. But they got the same exact names as the actual stars. And the stars were here way before me and you were here to even understand, or the ancient astronomers to even figure out that, oh, okay, um, the zodiac isn't just stars, it's the equinoxes. The stars are already here and they was already named first, right? Babylonia did it with the constellation. You think they just gave them stars names for just play? Vic, please stop. And Vic, do I need to pull up the verse? Matter of fact, let me pull out my phone. Pull up my phone. This one right here, verse 11. Let's scroll up to 11 in this serious Adanta book. Let's see if it say that in this serious Adanta book. Let's see. Let's see right here. That's what it say. The planet which moves rapidly, right, requires a short time to pass the signs of the zodiac, right? And the planet that moves slowly passes the signs, right? So now, Bogana, hope I'm saying it correctly, Vic. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Vic. But I'm just reading what the text say, like you be reading what the text say. That the revolution through the signs of the zodiac, right, which is a planet making a passing round up to the end of the true place of the star called Ravati, right, Pisceum, right, from which they set out. Do you understand that? 60 the collars, all right? Make a collar, right? In 60 minutes constitute an answer, right? A degree, and a rise, Vic. But I just read that in that one, right? Okay, now let's look at this one, Vic. Yeah, let's look at this one. This one is, I think this one on 67 over here. I think this one on 67. Vic, Vic, please pay attention. And Vic, I'm waiting on you to make a video, so I can critique every single thing you said in that video, right? Now here we go back again on another one, right? So now I mean, come on. complete at the end of the asterism Reviting, right? I'm just saying, Vic, the commentary is necessary, Vic, to help people explain right now, right here, what I just read. So, Vic, but that's neither here nor there. Let me just keep destroying you, right? So now, um, let's see. Let's scroll down. So now, translation, right? 0 degree Aries equals the end of Reviting, right? So now, this is not the vernal equinox that we are speaking of, Vic, and I'm pretty sure you understand that. This is a non-moving stellar reference point, right? So now, every calculation of the series Debunked uses this anchor, right, including planetary revolutions, positions, and lagna, right? This aligns with the other texts like the Brihat Samhita, BPHS, tropical zodiac, nowhere to be found as far as the actual chart calculations, right? Your entire foundation is built on a mystery. Chapter 3 mentions the actual lognal calculation, not way in 14, right? Vic, Vic, am I wrong? Please prove me wrong because I got something for you. I promise you. And now, listen, this is the BPHS. This is one of the third. This is the Brihat Jataka, right? And then this is the Brihat Samhita, right? So now, let's just analyze real quick, right? Now, you did a debate with Panthero, and he tried to tell you that chapter 3 of the BPHS said this. You said it don't, right? Because you feel like that your Sanskrit and your understanding of it is better. You were saying something about I can't remember. You were saying it's say from Aries and stuff. I remember the wordplay you was doing. But this textbook supports Panthera, which is what he brought up. The Jataka also supports it right here for anybody who want to see it, right? Right? Pause it and zoom in on your phone, right? Now, look at this one. The Brihat Samhita, it aligns the zodiac signs with all the nakshatras. So I'm just trying, Vic, listen, in my humble opinion, I'm just saying, we have to really go by the actual text, right, Vic? I'm just saying, Vic, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, right? So now Vic's argument, sure, chapter 1 talks about stars, but it's theoretical, right? So now chapter 14 is where the real usable zodiac starts, right? And that zodiac sign is seasonal tropical. My rebuttal. Let's take a closer look at what chapter 14 is actually doing. Chapter 14, 7 through 11 mentions the equinox and solstices, but in the context, it's clearly talking about what? Vic? Seasons, the solar year, agricultural calendars, timing of sacrifice, and festivals. It says nothing, and I repeat, nothing about defining Rasis for planetary positions for chart calculations. It don't say that at all, Vic. It might say irregular from Aries from what it's talking about in that chapter, but chapter 3 already established it, right? I mean, right? I mean, seriously, Vic, right? Right. So now let's look at this, right? So let's just skip right to this point, right? Let's just skip. Oh, but before that, if chapter 14 had real zodiac, then why are all the mathematical calculations happening long before? Hmm, exactly, right. So now, verdict, chapter 14, calendar season, chapter 1, reference time frame. You're trying to use the calendar section to rewrite the math section, right? And that's, I'm talking about not just wrong, it's really a category error. I'm just saying, right? So now, chapter 3 is Lagna method uses the equinox, right? So now, since Lagna is related to sunrise and motion, it must be tied to the equinox somehow, right? Because that's the natural reference for day and night cycles. My rebuttal. Not only does chapter 3 reference the equinox, right, but it actively assumes you've already aligned your zodiac to the end of providing as defined word, Vic, in chapter 1. That is literally in the first. Come on now, you even said it in the video yourself, Vic. You said for argument's sake it does, and you're a very intelligent person. You would not say that if you didn't really feel that, right? But you just kind of. Ugh. So now let's break down the logarithm. You talking about it's all this complicated math. So now let's break down the two logarithm methods, right, given in chapter 3, right? So now, the prana method, the day is divided into pranas, time units. You subtract full 30-degree Rashi sidereal signs and find the remainder, right? Then use a lookup table, right? The sign of 0 Rashi, sign of 1 Rashi, sign of 2. You understand, right? Hopefully you do. These are fixed sidereal signs, Vic. And remember, all this stuff was established back in chapter 3, right? It was all established, right? Which you said even yourself, right? So now, the method is 100% sidereal, right? There is no mention of the equinox as a 0 point in the actual login calculation methods. Please go find me that. Please correct me. Please. So now the samsa, now this is the second way, the meridian ecliptic, right, method, right? Convert sunrise times to pranas, right? So now compute the sun's true longitude from Ravati, right? Adjust by declination plus local latitude. So now then use the sign of the zenith distance to find the actual login. Again, Vic, the calculation starts from the true sun, not a mean sun, right? So not a symbolic equinox. Do you understand that? Which is hypothetical, which is no, what it actually is the tropical zodiac, right? If it's not the stars, then what it is? It's just mathematical points, right? Mathematical points that aren't anchored to any physical star constellation, right? Because you say the fixed stars drift. Vic, just Vic, just stop. Just stop. So now Rashi's in the series, Vic's argument. The Rashi just divide the sky into 12, right? And can be based on symbolical seasonal ideas, right? My rebuttal. Nice try, but that doesn't hold up in the text. Rasis in the series Siddhanta are 12 equal to 50 of 3 under 6, which we just finished reading. Vic, Vic, we just finished reading that, Vic. Right up here. Vic, we just finished reading that. Vic, we just finished reading that. So let's go back. Oh look, let's go back. Let's go back. Cause you thought I wasn't gonna know what I was talking about. Yeah, I know you didn't expect to get hit with this. Let's zoom out. Chapter 1 defines the zodiac at Revati's end, right? Chapter 2 gives planetary motions using their frame. Chapter 3 calculates the log, and within that same framework, chapter 14 only appears like what? 11 chapters later, right? To discuss seasonal timing, right? That's it. Zodiac is already said it's not floating, it's not tied to the spring equinox for chart calculations in the way that you think it is. It is anchored to the actual stars, right? Just like Brihat Samhita, Horus Shastra, right? And like the full Jyotish tradition, right? You're using chapter 14 like a duct tape to fix a theory that never fit the math to begin with, right? So including tropical is out as far as chart calculations. It's just what it is, right? 0 degree Aries, the end of provided, right? Every method lies from a planetary position, sign tables assume this fixed sidereal origin, right? So Vic, with our respect, your tropical interpretation is just unsupported for the chart calculation, right? It is directly contradicted by the text. You can't rewrite a Siddhanta just because it conflicts with a modern model. The math doesn't actually lie. So now, Vic, and now listen, Vic, if you want, and listen, I'm gonna stop it right there. But I want to show you something. Look at all these butters going against you. Oh, y'all got more. Explaining some of the same. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna end alive with this, with you in the cognitive dissonance, right? So now, before we do that, let's go down here right now. Put simply, right, chapters 1, 2, 3 never equate 0 degree Aries with the vernal equinox, right? Now, it don't do that at all, right? But they repeatedly correct the equinox against the fixed star zodiac. Their architecture is intrinsically sidereal, right? And the very architecture that later classics Brihat, Jataka, BPHS inherit, right? In all 3 of the series of dungeons I have, present, don't say that at all. Literally this, right? So now, chapter 14, right? A ritual calendar appendix, right? Not a chart casting chapter, right? So now, 9 month, right? Time scale. The chapter opens by listing the Brahma, Devya, Vic, you know all this. You can say the words better than me, but I do understand what they mean, right? It tells priests which clock to use for which rite, right? So now, beginning with Aries is just naming a convention, right? So now, when the text says the 12 divisions beginning with Mesha, right, are called the months, make 1 year is not redefining the zodiac in the way you think it is, right? It is saying that the solar calendar labels is 12 30-degree segments. Mesha versus, I cannot say Taurus correct for anything, right? It's like saying March, April, May, right? So now, nothing in the verses instruct the reader to shift Mesa 0 degree equinox or ignore the Eigenumsa for the birth charts, right? This way, way later, right? Now, the equinox and solstices are seasonal checkpoints, right? Not sign boundaries, right? In the way you think it is for the actual chart calculation, right? So now, 2 verses note that the equinox point, Vishuvat, I think this is how you be saying it, and solstice points, right, lie on the ecliptic diameters, right? Every astronomy manual, sidereal, or tropical must mention them to define what? The day and length changes, right? So now, this chapter simply states, right, 6 months after the sun enters sidereal Capricorn, or the actual northern solstice, right? Now, Vic, I want you to understand this, right, Vic. There are markers, right? And you know that it does shift, right? So now, no ecliptical math, right? No eigenums and no logarithm tables, right? Unlike what I provided you earlier, right? Chapter 14 never revisits the trig tables or the rising time equations. It never tells you how to place planets in houses, right? It's purely about calendric labeling or ceremonial timekeeping. If chapter 14 really switched to a tropical grid, it would contradict the earlier math, right? So the author would have had to warn the reader from this point forward, do not subtract the eigenumsa. Recast all ephemerize, right? So now rebuild the ascensional table, right? Which the commentary left, right, Vic? But I mean, you know what they talk about. It all stems from chapter 1. No such instruction appears, right? Because the text assumes the sidereal grid is still in force, right? So now the takeaway for the actual debate, right? So now the horoscope practice, chapter 1 through 3, unequivocally sidereal, right? Every longitude is corrected. You know what I mean? For precession before use, right? Chapter 14 describes civil, solar, lunar, sidereal, Jupiter, and divine year counts using measure as month, right? But chapter 14 reckons from Aries, so it must be tropical from how you say it, right? So now, yes, the solar months are named, so on and so on for convenience, right? But the chapter never tells you to use it for chart calculations. Vic, that's the truth, Vic. Vic, that's the truth. So listen, you see the rest of the stuff down here. Oh yeah, Vic. Listen, I'm waiting. I'm eagerly so ever awaiting your response, right? But I do want you to understand and know this, right? All these texts line up with the beginning of I'm talking about Sirius Daunton, right? And it because I'm formulating this all into one point. And don't get me. I think I'm gonna make a video rebuttaling you about the actual how the zodiacs fit because you know what I'm talking about. Of course, they do equal out full 30 degrees if you use them from the tropical system, but they also do equal out fully when you use the nakshatra system. So I'll be fair. I'll be fair because I have learned some things from you. You do have a lot of great knowledge. I'll be fair, I guess. Um, it's this one zodiac being looked at in two different ways, right? Clearly obvious, right? The reason why you can even say that the word contradiction, right, is because you do in your mind understand that it's mentioning something of what could be taken or seen like two different things, right? And it's not just a seem, it actually is, right? Chapter 14 says something completely different from chapter actual 1, right? You're word playing out this cryptic stuff, and Vic, I'm just not having it. I'm not having it. And nobody ever came at you with this. Panthero did come at you with this, but you kind of like, he hit it from a very good angle. You just dismissed it. Some books say it, some don't say it. Vic, I want you to find me this. Where in the Sirius Sedanta does it say for the chart logna calculations, right? Oh, before we go, chart calculations, you use the vernal equinox, 0 degree Aries, and work from there. Please show me where it said that there, right? Now I'm trying to see which one. I think it's because you were saying something. I'm trying to see about the sundial. You were saying something about the sundial and the equinoctial. What you call? Hold up. Let me see stuff. Let me see. Where did I put that? I don't think it's this one. Let's go back. Let's see. Let's see. Right here, Vic. Yeah, just come read this, Vic. Come read all of this. All of that. So now, Vic, so now let's discuss you personally, Vic. You know, because you like to come at a lot of people that have more likely done nothing to you. You just want people to believe what you want them to believe, right? So now let's discuss your cognitive dissonance. So now, Vic, let me break this down for you, right? So now in the simplest way possible, right? So now you are trapped in a state of cognitive dissonance, right? This psychological phenomenon occurs when someone tries to hold two contradictory beliefs at once, and it creates a sense of mental discomfort. It's clear to me and anyone who actually reads a serious study that you're trying to force the ancient teachings into a tropical framework for chart calculation, which it doesn't mention in chapter 1 through 3 at all, right? Which where all this going on, the math and stuff going on, right? So now, when in fact it's based entirely on sidereal systems. Here's where you are going wrong at, right? Mental tension. You want us so badly to believe that Sirius Dunton uses tropical systems because it's what you've always known, right? I think you started off as Vedic, then you went to this whatever, or sidereal whatever. But deep down, if you just look at the text objectively, you know that it points to the actual sidereal system, right? That's when the inner conflict inside of you actually begins, right? So your mind's trying to hold on to these two clashing ideas, right? And it's clearly creating a mental strain for you. And let's be honest, you're not fooling anyone here. You feel it too, right? So now, avoiding the truth. This word get interesting, Vic. So now, to ease the discomfort of cognitive dissonance, your brain is trying to justify your tropical belief. You are ignoring parts of the text that clearly support the sidereal framework, right? Instead of coming to terms with the clear truth in front of you, you're clinging to old biases, right? This isn't just ignorance, right? It's willful ignorance, right? So now you are actively avoiding the truth because you just don't want it to. It don't fit your preconceived notions, and that's really messed up, Vic. That's really messed up. So now, this internal conflict, right, is creating a mental block for you, right? So you can't move forward because you keep pulling yourself into two directions, right? So now your mind is torn between what you want to believe and what the facts are telling you, right? So you really had confirmation bias. So now you're stuck in a loop, repeating the same flawed arguments instead of embracing clarity that the series of done to offer, right? So now you are choosing what's easy over what's true and what's stopping your actual growth, Vic. And I really do want you to be a amazing astrologer. You get the mind for it. You got the mind for it, right? You see what I'm saying? So let me see, right? Hold up, let me see. So now which one? So now the choice you are facing, right? Hear the cold truth, right? If you continue to ignore the obvious, right, and allow this cognitive dissonance to cloud your judgment, you will stay exactly where you are stuck, right? Stagnant and repeating the same mistakes. It is time for you to make a judgment, Vic. You will stay exactly where you are, stuck, stagnant, and repeating the same cycles. I think I already read this. So now, either you resolve the inner conflict and accept the series of done based on Sidereal framework and stop. You just got to stop, Vic. Because I'm not going nowhere. Confirmation bias. Let's talk about the confirmation bias. Vic, I'm pretty sure just read all this, right? Limited thinking. Instead of reading a series of done with an open mind, you're trying to force your tropical beliefs onto a system that has nothing to do with it for the chart calculation method that you so claim, right? It's time to break free, Vic. It's time to level up. If you ever want to break free from this mental trap, move forward in your astrology practice, you need to stop clinging to your biases and start accepting what the series of done is really about, right? This isn't a hard choice. Either you continue to deceive yourself and remain stuck in cognitive dissonance, or you accept the sidereal truth and grow in astrology. Now, Vic, that's all I really got for you, Vic. Every time you say anything, if I see you even mentioning anything about this, I'm going to make sure I post this video under whatever comment section, and I'm going to post all these blogs up under whatever comment section. I'm not finna keep going back and forth with you over, because guess what? We have your viewpoints, right? From your Dicara site, right? We have your viewpoints, right? We have your viewpoints, right? Look, we had everything that you be talking about, right? Uh-huh. Like what you say, Reviving Aries, yeah, man. Listen, Vic, listen, but it's cool, right? This was not to discredit you in a bad way. It's just to like kind of show you where you're flawed in thinking, right? Where you kind of misconstrue stuff, right? But that's okay, right? But every time you say something, and Vic, I want you to know this: I'm very adaptive. Even if I said something that was even a little bit incorrect, and you try to dissect it, I promise you, I'm gonna dissect that. And I will admit whatever flaw I am, if it's really a flaw. Because I'm really a good thinker. That's why I got all this information pulled out for you, right? So whenever you feel the need, you have to say something in response. I'm always going to be there, lurking in the shadows, waiting on you to slip up, waiting on you to make one mistake, right? You will not continue to disrespect the ancient traditions, right? With your flawed tetrabiblos perception, right? Because he mentions everything that you're talking about. Well, in that book, it mentions what you're talking about. So yes, Vic, just heads up, man. Listen, I know you out there in Japan. Listen, listen. I like anime. So if you see Naruto, Sasuke, or you know I'm talking about the Devil May Cry series, that just let me know and let me know how the anime Japanese park is. But other than that, Vic, I don't really got much else for you, right? Unless you make something else saying something that I got to come up here and defeat you and refute you constantly. The same way you refuted everybody. Trust me, you it is what it is now. But other than that, have a good rest of whenever you read this. If you're not too pissed off and mad, bye bye.